Fans, what's going on, y'all? We have ourselves a season, and it's a real season, not last year's crap, but this year is here, and it's alive and ready to roll, y'all, as college football has returned. My goodness, it feels like it's been an eternity since we've had great football. Last year, I commend everybody. Thank you so much for putting together a season that we tried to forget. But it's all good, because this year we are back at it. We have plenty of NAIA coming at you right now, because the NAIA season just kicked off this past weekend. We're getting set for Division 3 and Division 2. Which get underway next week. Division 2 actually had one game this past week, so we'll talk about that. We are going to go ahead and see what's going on with the Little CAA and NJCAA on the fly, of course, busy days, so our apologies. We're talking the FCS coming up next week, and of course, we're giving this week actually, and we're giving our picks coming up for the FBS. Oh yeah, y'all, sound the thunder because we're coming, y'all. With that said, all of that in a little school, or not school, by the name of Bishop Sycamore. All tuned in live today for a great one. Let's do this, y'all. 3 and Out College Edition right here on iSports Radio, your directory for all that is sports. Welcome, football fans, college football fans. Here we go, y'all. It's time to rock and roll. We have had an amazing start to college football season. Last week, the NAIA got underway, and man, there was a lot of good football games. High school football is underway. It's been underway for a few weeks now, and man, there's been some great ones as well. And I'll tell you, it just keeps getting better, y'all. College football, high school football. It's just where it's at. Now, let's be real. Of course, we all love the NFL. That is coming up on 3 and Out. Will be coming up next week. But as for right now, it's time to focus on what feeds the NFL. And that, of course, is high school and college football. So with that said, y'all, welcome. Thank you for the warm introduction from Mr. Harrison Glazier and Mr. Pierre Moss on the Show That Never Sleeps podcast, talking all New York, New Jersey sports up over there on the East Coast. And it's time to take a trip over here to the West Coast, of course. This isn't just a West Coast show, but Taryn and I are both over here on the West Coast. We're talking everything college football. Ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time. Let's get this thing rocking and rolling. Commercial-free show tonight once again because there's just too much to cover, and we're going to use every bit of this hour. So with that said, y'all, welcoming my boy, man. He, of course, is like literally almost everything. He does everything but sells chips. I mean, really. The guy does everything but sell popcorn, as, of course, as cliche as that is. He really does that, y'all. He, of course, is the founder and host of Set Point, our volleyball show here on iSports Radio. He, of course, is founder and host of the SoCal Supreme Sports Show here on iSports Radio as well, talking all Southern California sports. And he, of course, is one of the COOs of iSports Radio, one of the 3, ladies and gentlemen. He is the man, the myth, the legend. I gotta love to always give him a great introduction. Welcome in, Mr. Taryn Rodriguez. What's going on, Taryn? How you doing today, brother?
Hey, Larry B. Great to be on here again, talking some college football. You're going to have some fun today, and I can hardly wait.
Oh, yes, we are. It's going to be a ball. So, big ups to everybody tuning in. We appreciate you all. Big ups to Davidson Crooks up in the chat room. I almost said the podcast. I'm tripping right now, y'all. I'm going 1,000 miles an hour, but it's all good because that's what's needed for this show. So, big ups to our boy, Mr. Davidson Crooks. He's taking a much-needed rest right now. Him and Mr. Dentarius Locke. They'll be back with Fast Break on September 12th. So, big ups to them. But what's going on, everybody in the chat room? It's time to talk some high school football. So, first things first, Taryn, before we go ahead and get to the top 25, before we go ahead and get into the top 25 games and all that fun stuff, and a little school that may or may not be a real school. I'm sorry, Taryn. Before we get into all that stuff, well, we're going to talk about, of course, just our schools at the moment, or at least our alma maters. That's always fun. And then just kind of bounce around our counties at least. So Taryn, of course, in Orange County, California, right next door. I am in Riverside County, in the Inland Empire. So with that said, Taryn, start us off, man. What's going over there? What's going down in the OC with some football?
So this past week, in terms of high school football, we had one high school team go down to Texas to take on the top 10 team known as Duncanville, and that was Mater Dei.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was actually a highly anticipated game. However, and this isn't a knock on Duncanville, but Mater Dei turned it into a complete blowout. They dominated Duncanville, winning 45-3, and for a top 10 matchup, I didn't think Mater Dei would win by that much. It's like, whew, like that was complete bonkers and insane. Like, this Mater Dei team, despite it being fairly young, has quite the Mustangs to like back up Coach Rawlinson and his coaching staff. Like, they really just dominated. And this was only their first game. Last week they had a scrimmage against, the previous week they had a scrimmage against Corona Centennial because Centennial, unfortunately, didn't meet the required number of practices to play. But it looks like Mater Dei did not skip a beat, and they start the season off 1-0. And they are still looking for a game this week, and play them at your own risk. That's all I got to say. But another team that was another nationally ranked team that had a noteworthy score was Servite, as they defeated Mission Viejo 44-7. Now, Mission Viejo isn't known for losing games outside of their league. Like, they may lose a game or two to, like, maybe Centennial or Bosco or Mater Dei, but they never really lose too many games when it comes to non-league play. So for them to lose to Servite means Servite is as good as advertised. There's a reason why they are top 25 in the nation, and they're one of the top teams in California. And they could possibly challenge St. John Bosco or Mater Dei for that Trinity League crown. Like, Servite, I think Sorry, did you say something?
Oh, no, you're good.
Oh, yeah, back to what I was saying. Servite, for those that don't know, Servite used to be a really dominant program back in the day. It'd always be down to them and Mater Dei for the Pac-5 championship back when they called it like that instead of like actually giving it Division I, Division II numbers. So there's something to note right there. And Servite is looking really good this year. Like, T-Mac is looking dominant at the tight end position. Quarterback just made lots of great plays. The defense was very legit. I thought Mission Viejo was going to put up a better fight, but I guess Servite, once again, is as good as advertised. And against a team like Servite, you have to play pretty much mistake-free, or they're going to make you pay. So there's that right there. And then another noteworthy Orange County game was Los Alamitos versus Lincoln. Lincoln was from San Diego, so the Griffins actually pulled out a big victory over Lincoln. And keep in mind, Lincoln is a top 25 team in California. They won 21-17. And the crazy thing is that Los Alamitos didn't even score in the second half. They were up 21-3 at halftime. And then Lincoln, who one of their wide receivers committed to Oregon, they made quite the little comeback, but that Griffins defense really showed them up. However, it kind of showed that the Griffins were a little, they're not indestructible, but it also showed that their defense is just as good as their offense. So for those bagging on Los Al saying, their offense only put up 21, I think it's just supposed to show you that Los Al has the balance of offense and defense. And tonight it was the defense's time to shine. And Micaiah Lemon, an Oklahoma commit, was the one that was covering that University of Oregon commit from Lincoln. So that was a big win for Los Alamitos, and now they have their next 3 games on the road, starting this week against Paramount, who is coming off of a tough loss, big loss to Los Alamitos' league rival Corona Del Mar. So there is that in terms of the noteworthy big-time Orange County games. And then, as for my alma mater, Newport Harbor got back on track last week with a big 44-14 win over Marina, their former league rival, not league rival, but former league teammate. Regardless, Marina is in a different league, while Newport Harbor is still in the Sunset League. Newport Harbor is 1-1, but they won't have a game because their game against J. Sarah got moved to the 24th because one of their players tested positive for COVID, and they have to go into COVID protocol. So they have their bye this week, which is unfortunate, but luckily their game didn't get canceled, because what I heard from CIF is I think it might count. I don't know if it'll count as a forfeiture, but but obviously the NFL and some of these other conferences have cracked down on postponements and forfeits or cancellations, because if you can't reschedule a game, it's going to count as a forfeit, depending on which team was unable to go. So there's that on my end.
All right, Sam. Well, thank you very much, good sir. Starting things off, coming out the gates hot with the number one team in the country, of course, Mater Dei. We'll be talking about them momentarily yet again. But over here in the Inland Empire, man, we had some good high school football. There's a little award every week that I'm going to call out every week called the Here We Come Award. And ladies and gentlemen, there's only one team over here right now that at least I can see. Sorry if I missed anybody that may have done better. But in the last 2 weeks, there is a school that has really come along. They are a dominant team. They've been a dominant team since I was in high school about 15 years ago, and they've stayed very dominant. What can you say about this team? But, I mean, hey, they're winners. A little horse country, of course, is what they call it. And, well, let's just say this is my mother's alma mater, her high school, and boy, oh boy, is this not a great football program. Ladies and gentlemen, here they come, the Norco Cougars. Gotta show them some love, man. The last 2 weeks, they have done some pretty awesome stuff. They will start the season off last week, knocking off an extremely good, and Taryn, I think you might know a thing or two about this high school, the Vista Marietta Mustangs, simply one of the best programs in Southern California, at least I like to say. Definitely not a Mater Dei or St. John Bosco, but the tier beneath it, they're right there. I think they're in that ranking. I think they're Division II, if I'm not mistaken, Division II, Division III, but simply a very strong high school. But man, Norco's right along with them, knocking off Vista Marietta last week. 42-26 on the road right here where Cecilia and I live, my fiance and I, were not too far. 2 weeks ago, that is, sorry. They got down to business. And then just last week on Thursday, the 26th, they will go on the road, and sorry, no. They were on the road versus Marietta, and a little school by the name of Rancho Santa Margarita. Ring a bell, Taryn?
Mm-hmm.
Well, those cats will head on over, if I'm not mistaken, I think they're the Eagles, if I'm mistaken, but Rancho Santa Margarita will head on over to Norco, a little teeny tiny horse country town, and Norco will send them home with a 40-22 loss. So the Norco Cougars defeat Vista Marietta 42-26 on the road in week 1. In week 2, Rancho Santa Margarita will head on over to Norco and defeat them. And Norco will defeat them 40-22. My goodness, this is huge. Next up, they got Rancho Cucamonga on the schedule. That is coming up this Friday. Rancho currently 1-0 last week, as a matter of fact. Rancho will defeat Apple Valley 27-19 on the road. So big ups to them. They got some good names on the schedule this year. Rancho Verde is going to be a big game as well. Of course, they got Centennial, the Football Factory in their league. So great stuff there. They're going to be not too far away. Actually, well, they'll be hosting a team not too far away from us either, but they'll be hosting them, of course, at home. The Marietta Valley, of course, the Nighthawks. So big ups, y'all. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, here they come, Norco Cougars. Big ups to them, man. They definitely deserve that. And big ups to my boys, man. The Paris Panthers, once again, a couple weeks ago, defeating the Conference Centennial. But they had a bye week last week, and this week they're back at it. They're on the road tomorrow, actually. It's a Thursday night game, and they'll be taking on the Desert Hot Springs. They are 0-2, the 0-2 Desert Hot Springs Eagles. And yeah, they will have lost their first 2 games to Indian Springs and to Harupa Valley. So we'll see what they got going on this weekend. Let's see if those Paris Panthers will do pretty well heading on over to take on those Desert Hot Springs Eagles. So, with that said, let's go ahead and move things on to the top 25. We already mentioned, Taryn, as you mentioned earlier, Mater Dei is getting down to business. It's destroying Duncanville on the road. That's pretty awesome. This next game, I mean, well, we're going to talk about this momentarily. Taryn, overall, this is that we got so much to get into. We really can't waste too much time, but we're going to waste a little bit of time on it. The number 2 team in the country out of Bradenton, Florida, the Img Academy, will get underway on ESPN last Sunday night and defeat a team that, well, we don't even know if they're a team. Taryn! Bishop Sycamore, a team that has been reported. I have heard so many YouTube videos, read a few, well, not actually no articles, but I've heard a couple of YouTube videos. Myself and Cecilia will be talking about this, of course, in a little more depth on Friday on the Sports Coast Perspective. But Taryn, this is our time. This is our show, of course. And I'm really excited to talk with my beautiful fiance about this because when I was telling her last night, she was cooking dinner when I came home and I was telling her all about it. She couldn't even believe this. So it's really, really cool to, it was going to be awesome to get her perspective of this. But my goodness, Taryn, I got to get your perspective on this thing, man. A school, we don't know, the coach has some legal issues apparently. That happened. The players actually are sought to be over 18, many of them, if I'm not mistaken, or at least, once again, the podcasts and YouTube videos, or at least the YouTube videos that I saw, were saying that there are reports that this team hasn't won any games ever. They've been around apparently since last year because the IMG Academy played them last year as well. They also played a game on Friday and then another one on Sunday, which is incredible because that's horrible. Not even the NFL does that. One of the videos said that as well that I watched. I think one of them was the fumble, and the other one was the fumble, and the other one was unnecessary roughness, the 2 YouTube videos that I saw. So big ups to them. But yeah, I mean, just all kinds of craziness going on surrounding this. I believe there is an investigation underway, and we have no idea. The Bishop Sycamore is apparently just a house, an address to somebody's house. We don't even know if it's a real school. They're traveling around the country. They have an extremely hard country, and they have a GoFundMe account to fund their trips. I mean, it's supposed to be an online charter school, but no one even knows where that location is, or it's totally online, but there's one building, and like I said, apparently that's somebody's house. I mean, Taryn, I can go into more depth, but I don't want to leave you out of the conversation. Brother, talk about this real fast, man, and let me know what you think about Bishop Sycamore at the moment.
So I was so mind blown at this. It's like, how do you mess this up? Like, I understand, like, televising IMG Academy, but why did you have to, like, televise this school? It's like, it's basically like bringing a toothpick to a sword fight. I don't know, but this whole thing has been one big, crazy, out of control roller coaster. It's just all over the place. I heard one player just gave the 411 about what happened in Bishop Sycamore. It's just a crazy. Like, I think you and I could write a book about how Bishop Sycamore is absolutely just all over the place and what had happened. Like, it's getting so bad that everyone is starting to make memes of Bishop Sycamore and references and whatnot. So it's just crazy. Like, someone done messed up when it came to scheduling, putting that game between them and IMG Academy on prime time. Like, come on, man. It's just absolutely nuts.
That's definitely a come on, man.
Yeah. Absolute come on, man moment. Even worse than when Trine got a first place vote after they defeated Ho.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Trine joke. We're gonna get into that probably more next week. But that's funny. That was pretty funny. But Taryn, I hate to dismiss it so fast, but there's our quick and dirty thoughts. I mean, seriously, it was kind of this whole thing is just it's a debacle. I don't even know what to say about it. But with that said, Bishop Sycamore out of Ohio. Gestad, we don't know what it is or where it is or who it is, or we don't know anything about them. But they are currently 0-3, and they will get blown out 58-0 by the number 2 team in the country, of course, the Img Academy. So big ups to them. But then again, I have no idea craziness. But anyway, with that said, St. John Bosco will just knock off Alemany. Not a bad game. Alemany, not a bad school, actually. Pretty good. But they'll defeat them 24-3. I say not bad because, well, they're not top 25, and, St. John Bosco is. And to hang with them within 21 points is pretty good if you're not a top 25 school. So I'm just going to say that. Westlake out of Austin, Texas, defeating Temple 54-13. Just an absolute destroyer right there. If you are still listening, Mr. Davidson Crooks, Alabaster, they will get it done, y'all, out of the Thompson Warriors out of Alabaster, Alabama will go ahead and do their thing, defeating Sparkman 55-0. My goodness, just putting up numbers. St. Thomas Aquinas over there in Florida, getting a pretty good game here from SFA. As a matter of fact, not a horrible game here, but St. Francis Academy, pretty solid, but 38-23 final score in this one. So we'll go ahead and just moving on forward. Collins Hill out of Swanee, Georgia, actually. Nice victory here over Backwood, 36-10. Let's see. Bergen Catholic out of Oradell, New Jersey, actually. Big victory here for them is, wow, 42-7. Pretty solid victory, if I may say, over Archbishop Hoban last week. So huge victory for Bergen Catholic. Let's see here. Let's continue to move down the list. Bishop Gorman. We're just going to do the top 10, guys. I'm sorry. I wish we can go through all of these here. But Bishop Gorman right now. Nice little victory for them, defeating St. Louis out of Hawaii, Honolulu, Hawaii, 42-21. At home, so solid game for them. And then North Shore, another team with plenty of NFL talent coming out of there in their time, defeat Shadow Creek 33-10 on the road. So there is your top 10 their games. Let's go ahead and take a look at the top 25 now. Just of course in taking a look at where they are. So from 11 to 15, we have Center Grove out of Greenwood, Indiana. St. Francis Academy out of Baltimore, which we just talked about them right now, top 25 team. Let's see here. De La Salle, of course, they will get things underway. Nice victory for them this last past week. They're 1-0. And then we have Chandler as well out of Chandler, Arizona. Next up, Katy, Texas. They will have their first victory. St. Joseph's Prep out of Philadelphia. St. Xavier out of Cincinnati. South Lake Carroll out of South Lake. And Corner Canyon out of Draper, Utah, all the way to 20. And then from 20 to 25, we have Ryan High School out of Denton. The Ryan Raiders out of Denton, Texas. Buford, if I'm not mistaken, out of Buford, Georgia. Centennial, I know them. The Football Factory, of course, dropping to 23. I don't know if they dropped or they were there or whatever. I know shame on me if I should have known this from last week. But the Corona Centennial Huskies. And actually, one team this week took a loss. Well, St. Francis did too. But this team, of course, Central out of Miami. This was, I believe, a couple weeks ago. It's the one that lost to Bosco. So Central out of Miami. And then Bixby, actually, out of Bixby, Oklahoma. The Bixby Spartans. They will have a nice victory this week, and that'll round out the top 25. So, with that said, that'll do it for some high school football talk. Big ups to all the teams who won this week. Best of luck to everybody this week getting ready to play on Thursday or Friday night. And hey, once again, big ups to the Norco Cougars. Here they come. They're looking strong. We'll see if they can claw their way up into that top 25 this year. They're looking good so far. They're knocking off two very good football teams to start off the year. So, with that said, Taryn, let's go ahead and shift some gears. First things first, junior college. Have you seen anything? I just want to ask this on air. Have you seen anything of the CCCAA, Taryn? Have you seen anything?
Yes, I have, but everyone just got done with their scrimmages a couple weeks ago. And this week, the 3C2A starts this weekend. And I was going to check out the OCC Golden West matchup, but I'm already got plans, which really stinks. And I think my plans would go pretty much into the 6 o'clock frame. So, but it's good to see the 3C2A is back and better than ever, and glad to see all the junior colleges not having to do scrimmages, because last spring everyone was doing scrimmages with one another, and even though there were some advertising saying that this team is playing that team in a game, it eventually got switched to being a scrimmage, which is like,
frustrating.
But overall, the 3C2A is back, and I can hardly wait.
Same here, Taryn. So we got some good games. I just noticed, and I took a look at the website right now, and there are some good matchups, man. I am excited for these. So as of right now, There are no rankings out, but the defending champions, since there was no 2020 season, the defending champions, my Riverside Tigers, that's right, I was a Tiger, y'all played there. Let's see here. They will be taking on the Mount San Jacinto Eagles, which is right here where we are, right here where Celia and I are, of course. Both these schools were two popular schools to go to out of high school. So they'll be getting down this weekend, so on the 4th. Big ups to them. Hopefully, best luck to both teams, but best luck to my Riverside Tigers this week. Next up, so we got some good games. Long Beach versus Elliott Harbor. That's solid. El Camino and Santa Monica. That is going to be a freaking battle. Elko, I can't stand them. I'm a Tiger. That's a rival right there. If you're an RCC guy, or RCC person like me, but solid school. Let's see here. Next up, I believe going up north, San Jose and De Anza, we have Sierra and San Francisco, the City College of San Francisco. Hint, hint, that's where Aaron Rodgers went. So, yeah, pretty solid. American River versus Sacramento City. Another up north, some good stuff here. Fresno City and Shabbat should be another solid game here. Southwestern and Grossmont, two San Diego schools. San Mateo taking on Santa Rosa. Another good game there. A few more good ones, of course, as you mentioned already, Taryn. A good football game right here. Going to be Golden West and Orange Coast, of course, your alma mater and junior college. Glendale taking on Saddleback. Saddleback, of course, taking on a brand new coach. I forgot his name. He retired after a good amount of years. We mentioned his name a couple weeks ago. But solid football team there. Always solid. Desert COD taking on San Bernardino Valley, SBVC, great school, Victor Valley and Palomar, Citrus and Chaffee, another good school. This is just great stuff, man. Cerritos is going to host Pasadena City. The Lancers should be a solid game. We got Mount San Antonio, taking on LA Valley, and Ventura taking on Moore Park. So good football games all the way around. That wasn't all of them, but there's a whole bunch of great CCAA going on right now, and looking forward to that coming up this next week. So with that said, Taryn, great stuff there, and I'm really looking forward to that RCC game, man, because I love me some Tiger football. I can't help it, man. It's in my blood. I went there. So with that said, let's take a look now and shift some gears on over to the rest of the country, of course. I've always thought, man, the CCAA, it'd be so cool to join into the merger into the NJCAA, but that would be chaos because there's so many schools in California, so many junior colleges. So let's take a look at the NJCAA. Man, great football here as well, and let's hope that they're getting underway and getting things going on for this week. So let's go ahead and head on over to that website and see where we are. So with that said, Taryn, let's take a look here. All right. So it looks like we got something. Something's going on here. Hey, we got a live one. I like it. Let's just hope that it's here to stay and that there's nothing crazy going on and nobody switches this and does that or whatever. So last year, of course, let's see here. Lindsey Wilson, of course, winning it all last year. And if I'm not mistaken, yeah, well, I don't see really anything, which sucks. So the website isn't saying much, and unfortunately, I'm not sure what's going down. So we may have to check back with this next week. But man, I would love to see some NJCAA football coming up this week. Unfortunately, I don't see much of anything. The rankings are, I believe, up. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, here they are. So the rankings are up. But
there are games this week.
There are games. Yes. All right, Taryn.
The NJCAA. Yes.
What do we got? Okay, I think you found them before I did, because, man, I could not find anything on this website at all.
So, shockingly, we have games on Thursday. So, the first game I see is East Central at East Mississippi. Then we have Northeast Mississippi versus Jones. Then Highland against Fort Scott. Then Mississippi Delta against Pearl River. Then DuPage against Ellsworth. Then Copiah Lincoln against Northwest Mississippi. And then finally we have Mississippi Gulf Coast against Holmes. Most of these matchups will start at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, while Mississippi Gulf Coast and Holmes start at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And then we jump on over to Saturday, which is going to be filled with quite a bit of games. We have Navarro versus Cisco. Then we have Independence versus Butler, Hutchinson versus Coffeyville, Papago Pumas versus New Mexico Military in the Woe Bowl. And we have Itawamba versus Southwest Mississippi, Georgia Military versus Monroe College, Sussex County versus NJ Warriors, Hawking versus Erie, Iowa Western versus Dodge City, ASA Miami versus Trinity Valley. And I guess there's this other game. It says Open versus Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. I guess that means their Northeast Oklahoma A&M's opponent canceled, and they're looking for an opponent. So there's that. So those are all the Saturday games. And then Sunday, there's one game. It's between Lackawanna versus Iowa Central. I feel that's going to be a big game.
Yes.
It's at noon Eastern Time. So
two top teams in the country going at it right there. Great to see Independence rolling on in. We see, of course, Lackawanna, a team that went all the way to the final a couple of years ago. So, yeah, I think you mentioned the East or Mississippi Gulf Coast, the team that won it all a couple of years ago as well. So, no, they defeated Lackawanna a couple of years ago, I believe, Mississippi Gulf Coast. So, great football. Definitely looking forward to that. Taryn, you got to show me where the heck you found that at. So, other than that, we do got to move along. Next week we'll have more for you. Right now we're just getting our feet wet, and we'll have lots of more for you next week. But with that said, you guys, let's go ahead and dive on over into some NAIA real fast. So, Taryn, I believe you did have a good amount of NAIA stuff coming our way. Man, if you love NAIA football, by the way, at NAIAFBALL, that's NAIAF ball. Check them out. Amazing stuff. Tons of followers. Just great coverage. And yeah, John Cooper is the man. It's incredible how much he covers of this sport. Really cool, too, is last past week he posted up the NAIA versus NCAA, and pretty cool. Coming up, actually, let's see here, if I'm not mistaken, coming up on Saturday, pretty cool. We have number 7 Marion of the NAIA taking on Tiffin, that's Division II NCAA. We have number 8 Reinhardt taking on Kennesaw State. That's an FCS school, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone says that the NAIA is comparable to Division II, which is pretty much about that, but it's pretty cool when you see them jumping up taking on the Division I subdivision. Pretty cool to see them taking on the FCS schools. So number 10 Dickinson State will be taking on Black Hills. That's a Division II. We have number 24 St. Xavier taking on Indianapolis. That's a Division II as well. RV Indiana Westland taking on Valpo, y'all. Valparaiso. Good game there. FCS. We have RV Bethel, Tennessee. We're taking on Delta State. That's Division II. And RV Valley City State at Concordia Moorhead. That's a Division III school. So, good stuff there. Really looking forward to all those good football games. The cross-conference, or not cross-conference. That's cross-governing body, if you will. So, Taryn, what you got for us, man?
So, when it came to last week, every team that was ranked in the preseason polls did not get upset. However, there were some noteworthy scores. There were 4 noteworthy scores. Well, 3 actually. One noteworthy score was Southeastern defeating Fort Lauderdale 2-0, but that was because Fort Lauderdale unfortunately had to forfeit. So Southeastern basically got their nice little win. But then there was this other game between Roosevelt, the number 20 Roosevelt, who just barely defeated Mayville State 37-32, which kind of surprising, but it's only the first game of the season. I don't think there's any need for panic. And then Eastern Oregon just barely squeaked one out at Montana State. They won 26-24. Or I'm sorry, not Montana State, Montana Tech 26-24. It was a close one, but I honestly thought that Montana Tech is much better than what most people give them credit for. And I think they may be one of the better unranked teams. And that little effort against Eastern Oregon will definitely help them in the long run. And then lastly, this was the big surprise. Baker, number 7 Baker of Kansas, barely beat Culver of Stockton 38-36. Now, it was on the road, but honestly, a top 10 team having to go the distance and giving up 36 points is quite something, if you ask me. So Baker might have to work out a few kinks, but it was theoretically week 0 or week 1. So all in all, not too much to panic about. One matchup that I am looking forward to coming up in the near future is Lindsey Wilson, as they will be playing number 4 Kaiser on September 11th, which is going to be a very fun matchup. It's the number 1 team versus the number 4 team. And I also got to wonder when Lindsey Wilson will be unveiling its championship banner. Either way, their first game of the season is tomorrow against Weber International. So that's what's happening with the number 1 team in the nation. The number 2 team blew out presentation 66-9. So that's some quick hits right there as well.
Awesome. Well, I am looking forward to all those great games. Lindsey Wilson mentioning, of course, we got, really, I just felt like right now, I feel like the NAIA, man, is just such a great governing body, and it's very underlooked, so I'm happy we can take a look at that. So, Terry, I'm going to belt on over to Division 3. Unfortunately, at the D3 website, at d3football.com, I don't see the updated top 25, which sucks. But I do see some good football games, some top 25 football games coming up here this week. Salisbury will be taking on Albright. This is coming up all on Saturday. We have Delaware Valley taking on Keene and Chapman. Hey! Chapman out of your neck of the woods, Taryn, Orange County. We'll be taking on Pacific. I'm not sure which of those teams are ranked. Chapman, I would be crazy to think Chapman out of the SIAC. I used to play for the University of Laverne, ULV, so I know this is a SIAC. And man, that'd be crazy if they were the one that's ranked. It might be Pacific. I don't know. But I'd love to find that top 25 right now. But like I said, as of right now, I just couldn't find it from the website, and time is of the essence. So definitely, though, big time stuff there coming up out of the Division 3 category. Really excited, man, because there's some good football. There really is some good football here in Division 3, and looking forward to all that going on. We got plenty of good football games coming up, all starting on Thursday, tomorrow. We got some great games. Trying, Taryn. We'll be taking on Manchester on Thursday tomorrow, so we'll be looking out for that. And just lots of great stuff here. Big ups to all these teams getting ready to get underway. If I'm not mistaken, it might be PAC-LU. I don't know if that's PAC-LU or not, but Pacific out of Oregon, they'll be taking on Chapman. So good stuff there. Just overall, great football. We'll take a look at. I'm going to see if I can find some of these. Redlands will be taking on George Fox. Really, really good school. Southwestern and Cal-Lu. Hey, my alma mater, Whittier. Laverne taking on Whittier. Good football there. So let's take a look here. Let's see, where are we at? See if we can find the champs from a couple years back. I cannot find them. That's kind of crazy. But definitely got lots of great football coming up in Division 3. Who's going to make it all the way to that Stag Bowl this year? We shall find out. Will Mary Hardin Baylor make their way back? Will the juggernaut that is Mount Union make their way back? Brockport, just becoming a program not too long ago, will they make their way back? Just overall, great football here in Division 3. And, of course, just a monster of a team last year. A couple years back in 2019. We had, of course, the team to win it all, defeating the Wisconsin Whitewater Warhawks, the North Central Cardinals, and cannot seem to find their schedule, but I do know they will be back in action as well. So, with that said, Taryn, any little tidbits or any comments here on Division 3 before we get into Division 2?
Well, I think this year could be wide open for maybe quite a bit of teams this year, especially since last year there was really no season, and I think it's going to be a coming out party for everybody, and how that everyone is going to be getting some Division III football after missing it last year. So I think there's going to be excitement in the Division III scene, and I think everyone's just raring to go.
Yeah, I am totally with that, Taryn. This is going to be a very great season, and really excited, man. I'm just so glad that football's back, and we're ready to rock and roll, man. We're ready to get on this field and go. So, as of right now, let's take a look at this top 25 poll, and Taryn, we don't have one. Oh, yes, we do! Yes, we got a top 25 poll! Thank you, God. Okay, so, no, we don't. We don't have a top 25 poll because these are just all teams from, unless they rank them from 25 all the way to 1 like they did a couple years ago. Of course, West Florida being at the top, and Minnesota State, Ferris State, Northwest Missouri. But I don't think that's the case, which is a freaking bummer. But regardless, we're just going to go over to our handy-dandy ESPN Score Center app where I got some of those games from. And once again, I think all these teams, all these apps and everything, all the websites will work themselves out this coming week. But we did have some good football getting underway. As a matter of fact, we did have Kentucky State taking on Central State, defeating them 20-6 on the road. Actually, that was last weekend. This last past weekend on Saturday. So that's the first of Division II football underway, and coming up, Slippery Rock, a team that we know all too well in that top 25 usually, in the tournament last year for sure. We'll be taking on Wayne State out of Michigan. Should be a tough, good football game there for sure. Ucla Baptist taking on Oklahoma Baptist, another good football game for sure. Let's see here. Really, my question is will West Florida do it again? I mean, ladies and gentlemen, every year I seem to brag about this team because in their second year of existence, they made it all the way to the championship, and they would lose, guys. They would lose all the way in the Division II championship. Just a couple years later, they will get right back at it, defeating, if I'm not mistaken, Minnesota State. And they freaking did it, you guys. They won. This is like their fourth year of existence, and they won a championship. So big ups to the Argonauts of West Florida. Certainly an extremely strong football team that I've loved it. Watching those guys, I am such a fan of West Florida now. So really excited to watch them play this year. And let's see, what else do we got going on here? Bowie State, big ups to Bowie State. That is our very own Darrell Kinsey Jr.'s alma mater. They'll be taking on Delaware State coming on up here. Any more familiar names at least to take a look at coming up? Let's see, what do we have? Let's see, where are we at? All right, looks like we got some stuff here. Texas A&M Commerce a couple years ago, really awesome football field, by the way. Gigantic yellow and blue lion on my field. We'll be taking on Colorado Pueblo State, or Colorado State Pueblo, of course. Good football teams there, going head-to-head in Middle America over there. We do have coming up this week Findlay and Ferris State, another good football matchup there. And let's just see if I can find one more. Oh, Northern State and Minnesota State should be another very good matchup this week. So like I said, we'll have plenty of that, lots of scores for you next week, some stats, more for you there. But with that said, a little bit of Division II coming your way. Taryn, any thoughts, comments, concerns on Division II?
No, I just think Division II is basically going to be the same scenario as Division III. I think everyone's just going to be raring to go, and I think it could be wide open in Division II, especially with what happened last year with the pandemic. And who knows, maybe we'll get like a new champion, considering just the rise of power always changes from time to time. Like we all saw what happened in the FCS, which could be perfect segue for us to go into, and how North Dakota State was unable to defend its crown as a new champion was crowned in the FCS. So I'm excited for Division II to start up, and I'm looking forward to seeing what can happen and if we'll get a new champion.
Well, I am totally right there with you, Taryn. I completely agree that Division II is going to be pretty awesome to watch this year again. It may be why it's been wide open. There is no juggernaut really in Division II. West Florida did the dang thing. I love it. I mean, Valdosta State, another good football team. I just started watching on my lunch breaks a little bit. Titletown, really cool little Netflix series. It's about the high school, but guys, Valdosta is a very strong football town, so pretty cool. But just a strong, team behind them over there. So just lots of great stuff. So taking a look from transitioning now into the FCS, we got some good stuff, man. This last past week, we would have the kickoff on Saturday as Indiana State will defeat East Illinois, or however they want to call it, Eastern Illinois, 26-21. Don't know the proper name for them, but NC Central will defeat Alcorn State in 23-14 at home in the Cricket MEAC / SWAC Challenge. And then San Jose State will open up their season 45-14 over Southern Utah. So big ups to all those schools, man. Definitely some big ups. And we have a game underway right now. Just got underway, probably about 10 minutes ago, if that. UAB, the team that lost their entire program just a few years ago, then they would return and make it to a bowl game and win it on a false start. That was pretty crazy. At least that's what I think. Or no, on the offsides, I think. But however it was, great stuff. UAB will win it. Will win it. They'll be in action right now. They are in action versus Jacksonville State. That's over on ESPN if you want to check that out. Great stuff there. So other than that, this coming up this week, man, there has really been there's been some good games. Now, taking a look at the FCS, man, this division or the subdivision here of Division 1 is just a great. Some people, I don't understand. They have it all, in my opinion. Especially the way they do their championship. I seriously, we're wasting all this time talking about, 4-team playoff, FBS, BCS, or can we just adopt the freaking way that Division 3, Division 2, the NAIA, okay, they even do it, and the FCS, I'm sorry, but seriously, if we get 24 freaking teams, just have a tournament like this, I think we'd be much better off. I know some people are probably, oh no, it's too much, whatever. That would be absolutely amazing. That is literally football's March Madness. We've talked about this before, Taryn, and it's just awesome. So I doubt that'll ever happen, but man, that would be great. Seriously, that would be absolutely awesome. So with that said, though, let's take a quick look here and jump on into the FCS all the way. We do have the FCS website. If I'm trying to get this darn thing up here right now, and I can't seem to get it up. Can't seem to get the schedule thing up here. But regardless, coming up here this week, some good matchups. The Citadel will be taking on number 22 Coastal Carolina. They're a solid football team there. Buffalo, which they actually dropped. I'm surprised they will drop to Division 1 AA. They'll be taking on Wagner. And teams do this all the time. Idaho, the Vandals, were once Division 1 single A, and they're back down to, or I don't know if they ever were back there or whatever, but they're AA as well. So crazy to see the Buffs down there. Let's see here. Actually, no, I'm sorry. They are not down there. They're just taking on the Wagner. So I'm sorry. They are not dropping. I was like, wait a minute. I thought they were pretty solid. So no, my apologies. Scrap that. Sorry. I got happy because I thought about Idaho, but no, the Buffs are taking on Wagner. And there, of course, we get that cross all the time. So coming up this week, that's what it's called, a tune-up game. Sorry. For these higher schools taking on the lower schools. Anyway, next up here, we got another one of those, Tulsa and UC Davis going head-to-head. Houston Baptist and New Mexico. There's a lot of crossover games. East Washington and their awesome red turf, but they'll be taking on UNLV. They'll be going down there. We have here Colorado taking on North Colorado. South Dakota taking on Kansas. The Kansas needs to get better, so they need some tune-up games. That's for sure. And then let's see here. For overall, all in all, games, North Dakota State, of course, just a monster team as they've been. Would not win it all this past spring, but solid game here. We have, let's see, as we mentioned earlier, Bowie State and Delaware. That's actually a Division 2 taking on Division 1 AA, so pretty cool. Wyoming and Montana State, North Dakota and Idaho State going head-to-head there. Good stuff. So overall, so I'm not just going to sit here and read off a bunch of games, but overall, just a lot of tune-up games, a lot of that whole thing going on. We do have the Denny's Orange Blossom Classic coming up on Sunday. Jackson State taking on Florida A&M. And also Grambling will be taking on Tennessee State. Darren, any information here, anything you want to give forth here on the FCS?
Well, currently we have UAB and Jacksonville State going on right now, and I kind of wonder who scheduled a Wednesday game. I guess it might have had something to do with like the availability for both those teams, but it's something that's just pondered my mind every now and then. So I don't know, but all in all, the FCS looks pretty solid. We got a really good lineup here, and I wonder. I gotta give a tip of the cap to the Citadel or the Citadel. They always find ways to like challenge these big time schools. Like they normally play Alabama every season, and I don't know if it's for like money purposes or for possible ratings or maybe the coaches are just friends. But it kind of just boggles my mind that they would be brave to go take on Alabama. I don't know if you ever pondered that, but that's just something I've wondered.
Yeah. Real quick, Taryn, you sound really muffled, man. I don't know if you got something over your microphone or whatnot, but you sound very muffled, man. Very hard to hear you. But I do got to say, there you go, man. But yeah, absolutely, man. Lots of great stuff going on. And once again, I get excited to get back to FCS football. One of my favorite divisions to watch in all of college football, man. So we have plenty more of that. We do going to make our way over into Division One single leg just in time. Adam Karnick, big ups to you, brother. Jumping on in. He says, "Evening, guys. Illinois won a game. Yes, Mr. Adam. That's probably the only one they're going to win all year." I'm just kidding, Aaron. I'm just kidding. But man, they would win a game last week. They would actually defeat Nebraska 30-22 last week, as we are now into single A, of course, the FBS, the big one, if you will, of college football. Last week, also, Fresno State putting a beatdown on UConn 45-0. UCLA will knock off Hawaii 44-10. UTEP over New Mexico State 30-3. And San Jose State, as we saw earlier, defeating Southern Utah 45-14. So coming up today, we do have some football games. Actually, tomorrow we got some good games coming up. As we mentioned, the Citadel taking on number 22 Coastal Carolina. Just a couple of these little crossover games. We also got Boise State and UCF. But nothing to really get excited for. These are not the big-time ones. Also on Friday, there are a good amount of games, actually, but once again, just tune-up games and little games here and there. But there is a good game coming up on Friday that I'm pretty excited about. Adam, I'm glad you popped in just in time for this, man. Michigan State, which hasn't been the best football team in a while, will be taking on Northwestern, a team that actually was pretty solid last year from Chicago. So pretty cool, man. Of course, big ups to Adam Karnick. He is the host of Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio. Every Wednesday, of course, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. over here on the West Coast, if you love Chicago sports over here. And yeah, he will be talking about this team, of course, Illinois as well, because, well, why not? He's from Illinois, or he's in that area. But I'll tell you what, y'all, this should be pretty solid. Big Ten matchup right out of the gates. They have given the line, interestingly enough, Taryn, to Northwestern by 3 points. So, any thoughts on that game before we move forward?
No, not necessarily. Something I actually forgot to mention when it came to the FCS is that when it comes to FBS teams scheduling FCS teams, at the moment there are still 3 teams that have not scheduled an FCS team or that have not played an FCS team. The first one is Notre Dame, which I don't know if they have any plans in the near future to do so, but for now they don't.
And USC fight on.
Yes, and then you actually stole the next one out of my mouth. USC, now they actually came close to scheduling UC Davis for their homecoming game, but they decided to switch it up for San Jose State, which was good on their part, especially with how big of a season San Jose State had. And then the last one is UCLA. However, UCLA next season will be scheduling North Carolina Central. They'll be scheduling Alabama State for their 2022 schedule, and then they'll schedule North Carolina Central for their 2023 schedule. And what's unique about those two are both HBCs and HBCU colleges and whatnot. So it looks like, although it's not really the best decision in the world, it's actually a great decision for them considering they're breaking down barriers and whatnot, but I digress on that. So come 2022 season, the only two teams that'll have not scheduled an FCS team are USC and Notre Dame. So the count has officially been shifted, well, soon to be shifted, in approximately 1 year.
That is craziness. So thank you there for the information, Taryn. We had some good notable games, of course, and every year, we love to put up our picks, but this year, there's just a lot going on. We're going to have a lot of football. We're only going to have an hour, you guys. We're going to go a little bit over on time today because, of course, our Louisiana show, which just got announced last week, will not be live today. However, we just got to get in the mix of, getting on time. But we can go a little bit over right now since he won't be live. But there are a few games that are notable to take a look at that are not ranked, of course, on Sunday. We actually, no, Saturday. Wow. Yeah, of course, duh. So, Saturday. By the way, Adam in the chat room says, "Go Cats! They should handle Sparty," and I agree. I think they'll defeat Michigan State. Should be a good football game, but overall, I just think Sparty's, Michigan State's not what they were. It sucks, but they're not. And for sure, the Wildcats, man, they were dominant last year. They were pretty good. So I'm pretty sure they're going to win this game, but we shall find out. BYU and Arizona in the Vegas kickoff game. That'll be coming up this week. Also, we have on Monday, we have the Chick-fil-A kickoff game, which is awesome. Maybe we should get some Chick-fil-A and enjoy that game. That sounds good. Louisville will be taking on Ole Miss. So, with that said, we want to get to all the games, and our apologies, but we're just going to go top 25 for time's sake, of course, from now on. But, Taryn, we have a top 25 schedule to call, man. Are you excited for this?
Oh, yeah. Totally excited.
Here we go, Taryn. So, first things first, these should be, Taryn and I, of course, are going to do the pick 'em. You can pick along with us. These are the top 25 games. Tell us what you think every week. Some of these are no-brainers, at least I think this first one should be. But then again, Appalachian State does exist almost 10 years to the day from 2007 to 2017. The diehards will understand that one. So the Citadel will be taking on that number 22 Coastal Carolina football team that has been very good. Baseball team winning it all in 2016, defeating Arizona, winning their first ever Division I single A title ever. And, well, they're yet to win the second one. At least I'm not sure if they are or not, but regardless, they are solid. And will they win? Will they someday compete for that college football title? We'll find out. Regardless, we have here the Citadel taking on number 22 Coastal Carolina. Taryn, CCU is favored by 35 points. What do you think here?
I got to go with the Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, Chanticleer is all the way. But hey, Citadel, it'll be nice to see a good football game. So, Weber State, big-time FCS program, will be taking on a team that's, well, pretty gosh darn solid. They're actually at 24 right now. Utah, as we said. I'm very surprised, actually. I didn't think they'd be a top 25 team, but they are out of the Pac-12. So, good football team here. They're taking on Weber State. Taryn, what you think?
Taking Utah.
Some of these, like I said, are no-brainers. But there are some teams that are actually, I think, might give a good fight. Also, next week, we're coming up tomorrow, by the way. These are tomorrow's games. We do have a good one here. A Big Ten matchup that I don't see this going anywhere but one way. But, man, I would love to see this be a good football game. Number four, the Ohio State, if you will be on the road taking on Minnesota. ESPN actually has them 14 points only, defeating Minnesota. You think that's fair? And what do you think, Taryn?
I got Ohio State winning that one, no doubt. I wouldn't be surprised if Minnesota tried to give them a battle, but I think Ohio State covers as well.
It's going to be a good football game. They're not going to show up and just not play, but yeah, it should be a good game there. Southern Utah, you're taking on number 25, Arizona State. They are favored by 45 points. Herm Edwards and the Sun Devils. What do you think, Darren?
I gotta go with Jaden Daniels and Arizona State.
Absolutely. On Friday, number 10, North Carolina will be taking on Virginia Tech. Now we start getting into some games that could be pretty interesting here, or at least some of these. North Carolina last year surprising everybody, looking pretty strong. But hey, the Hokies are nothing, as you would say, Terry, nothing to sneeze at. Maybe this year they're not that great, but they're still a pretty solid team in the ACC. We got a nice ACC battle. Who are you taking, Terry, and why?
I'm going to go UNC just because I want them to prove to me that they are as good as advertised when it comes to being a top 10 team. Because if they don't give me a good game, then I don't think they'll be top 10 for long. And also, I don't understand what's so big about UNC. Maybe they have someone I'm missing. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm taking UNC.
Basketball, yes. Football, I'm not sure. I mean... I don't know. And let's talk about football with Mia Hamm back in the day. Just kidding. But I don't know. I'm just, North Carolina, we have to see. I want to see this team compete this year in a full-on season. We'll see. But I'm going to take them to win it. But we shall see. So next up on Saturday's games, some of these we're just going to kind of just skim over and just give a quick little like you've been, Taryn. Number 2, Oklahoma. They will be taking on Tulane. The game is actually going to be moved to Norman, Oklahoma. So what do you think, Taryn? Oklahoma is favored 31.5 points.
Oklahoma, without a doubt.
Yeah, without a doubt. Same here. Now we have a good Big Ten matchup. Number 19, Penn State will be taking on the number 12, Wisconsin Badgers. Oh my gosh. This is a football game, man. The Wisconsin's actually favored at home in Madison. 5 points, 5.5 points. Taryn, I don't want to not take Penn State. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to take Penn State, man. I'm going to take Wisconsin at home because, damn it, they're a good football team. And Penn State's solid, but you know what, man? Wisconsin, they're underrated. This is always a good team year in, year out. I'm going to take Wisconsin to win this one.
Yeah, I'm taking Wisconsin, too. I think they've got a little bit more firepower in the tank. And I think this is going to be Wisconsin's year to possibly get back on top of their portion of the Big Ten.
I'd love to see that, too. Next up, Fresno State taking on number 11, Oregon. Man, it'd be great to see Fresno State, those crazy Bulldogs, taking on the Oregon Ducks. But yeah, Taryn, I'm pretty sure this game is going to go no other way than Oregon. Do you agree?
Yes, it's going to be Oregon winning.
Yeah, a 20.5 point victory is what they're giving what ESPN is saying. Now we have another one that is still... This is how good Alabama is, guys. A Chick-fil-A kickoff game. Here. Number 1 Alabama will be heading on down to Miami to take on those number 14 Hurricanes. If this was 20 years ago, yes, this would have been a very good football team with that team then and this team now. Actually, no, Miami probably would have smoked them because that team was incredible in 2001. But this game is favored by 19.5 points to Alabama. Miami has actually shown signs of life, the signs of much improvement. But I can't see this game going any other way, man. Alabama all the way. They're strong. They're tough. This is going to be the team that has to be knocked off. And even when they are knocked off, they're still one of the top programs in the country. You can't not go anywhere else but roll tide roll, man. What you think?
I got to go with Alabama as well.
Should be a good one. Next up, Miami of Ohio taking on number 8, Cincinnati. Cincinnati favored 22.5 points. I'm taking those Bearcats. Who you got, Darren?
I'm taking Cincinnati as well, no doubt.
All right. Number 17, Indiana. The Hoosiers are taking on number 18, Iowa. Another Big Ten matchup here. Iowa is actually favored by 3 points in this one. This is a hard one because Indiana's actually shown how they've actually gotten a lot better. A couple years ago, Indiana was just something to kind of laugh at. They were not even close to being a top team in the FBS, but look at that. They're even ranked right now one place ahead of Iowa. I'm actually going to go with ESPN here. It's crazy to think that if Indiana wins, even though they're ranked one place above, I still think it'd be an upset. I hate to say that, but Iowa's proven. They've proven they're a good football team. They've proven that they've produced great talent. I mean, it's just hard for me to not take them. Tristan Wirfs, man, guy's a freaking beast. I'm just saying, they've produced some great talent. Noah Fant, T.J. Hawkinson. I mean, they've put some great talent in the NFL. Taryn, I can't not go with the Hawkeyes. I'm taking the Hawkeyes to win this one. How about you?
Well, this is actually going to be the first one that we disagree with. I'm taking Indiana because they return Michael Penix Jr. as their quarterback, and then they also have Stephen Carr, who transferred from USC as their running back. So I'm going to go with Indiana, but it'll be close.
Okay, Taryn. Well, in the chat room here, Adam says loving all the Big Ten teams, all the ranked Big Ten teams, and you should, Adam, something to be proud about, man, in your conference. So, all right, so first one that Taryn and I are different on, Northern Iowa, taking on number 7, Iowa State. Yeah, that's not fair. I'm going to take Iowa State, Taryn.
Yeah, I'm taking Iowa State as well, no doubt.
Next up, man, number 23, Louisiana, the Ragin' Cajuns, taking on number 21, the Texas Longhorns. My goodness, this is actually, should be a good game. If the Ragin' Cajuns win this one, they need to go to like number 10. I'm sorry, but I don't know. It's either that or Texas is just overhyped. I'm sorry, but I don't know. They're a good football team. Louisiana is finally getting the respect they deserve, I think. And Texas is ranked. Texas has, they are an 8-point favorite. I'm going to take Texas, but gosh darn it, do I want to take Louisiana. How about you, Darren?
So this seems to always happen, that some team that is good faces off against Texas, and everyone thinks Texas is going to win. I'm actually going to go the opposite and say Louisiana wins.
Hey! Woo! I like that. I'm gonna take the safe one, Darren. But man, if Texas loses again to another team, like it's true. Who did they lose to a couple years ago?
I don't remember who Texas lost to. Maybe it was Kansas State, but I know a few years ago they lost to Cal, and they weren't ranked.
It's like, what the crap? So, we'll see. So, okay, next up, San Jose State taking on number 15, our beloved USC Trojans. Taryn, there's no other way. Fight on.
So, obviously, USC, I'm going to pick USC for obvious reasons. But don't be surprised if San Jose State makes it a little tough, considering they do have that match from last week. So, USC will win, but I don't think it'll be an easy one.
No, me either. I think it'll be a good football game. Next up, the Duke's Mayo Classic. Now we're talking something hardcore here. Coming up, Saturday night football, the first Saturday night football of the season. Number 5, Georgia. The Georgia Bulldogs will be taking on at number 3, the Clemson Tigers. Taryn, this is a football game, an SEC versus ACC battle. My goodness, if Georgia ever wanted to show that they got a set of balls to freaking go heads up and make this thing happen this year, I'm not saying they're ballless. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that Georgia, if they lose this game, they're still not one of the best teams in the country. I'm not saying that. I'm actually a fan of Kirby Smart. Great coaching. They've done great things. They really have. But Clemson is that team. Okay? And we also have a young man there by the name of Ucla, which we know all too well, okay, from St. John Bosco. And it's just like, you know what, man? Clemson is tough. They're a strong football team. This team is just too good. They are solid. So if Georgia wants to show something this week, or this season even, it's winning this game. Am I going to pick them? No, I am not. Number 3 is actually, number 3, Clemson is actually favored by 3 points. Will they win this game? I think they will. Will it be easy? No, it won't. Regardless, I'm going to take Clemson in a freaking dog fight. I guess you could say dog versus cat, Tigers versus Bulldogs. But Taryn, this is a tough one to pick, man. Who are you taking?
I'm taking Clemson. And something else to note is that J.T. Daniels is the quarterback for Georgia. And funny enough is that DJ Ucla and J.T. Daniels went to St. John Bosco and Mater Dei respectively. So I really got to go with Clemson. I hate to pick against JT, but I think Clemson has just got too much firepower.
Pretty crazy to think, huh? They were both in Southern California at one time, rivals. Were they there together, Taryn?
I actually don't remember. I want to say so, but I have to go back and double check. Yeah.
Pretty cool. Two rivals that are in two cities that are not too far away from one another in high school, two of the nation's top teams. And then they go all the way to the East Coast to play in two of the best universities in the country, football-wise, of course. So, well, I mean, I'm sure academically too, but amazing stuff. So, yeah, we're both taking Clemson, but man, what a game. That's going to be a great one on Saturday night football coming up. And, yeah, looking forward to that. Next up, FAU. Hey, it's Lane Kiffin. Is he still there, Taryn? Is Lane Kiffin still there?
I thought he was elsewhere. I thought he was at, Ole Miss or something.
Yeah, never mind. He did. He left. He went to Ole Miss. I'm sorry. I'm brain farting over here. But FAU, man, taking on number 13 Florida. This should be a no-brainer. 23.5-point favorites for the Gators. How about you, Taryn?
Chomp, chomp. I'm taking the Florida Gators.
It's great to be a Florida Gator. Yeah, I'm sorry, Owls. Chomp, chomp. Sorry, Owls. I want to see the Owls give them a fight. That'd be great. I'd love to see that. That'd be a great upset. But, okay, next up, Kent State. Hey, it's the Kent State Golden Eagles. Well, I'm not sure they're going to be flying too high this week because the number 6 Texas A&M Aggies are going to be down in College Station awaiting the arrival from Kent State. A tune-up game nonetheless, at least I think. Texas A&M is favored by 28.5 points. Gig 'em. How about you, Taryn?
I'm taking Texas A&M, no doubt.
Yeah.
The no-brainer.
No-brainer. The Montana Grizzlies. Hey, Montana. They will be heading west to take on the number 20 Washington Huskies. Utah, baby. Darren, yeah. I'm trying to hype up a game that's not even hyped up. Montana, of course, an FCS game. Man, if they were to pull that off, it'd be crazy. But yeah, Washington all the way.
I'm taking Washington, no doubt.
Yeah, no doubt, brother. Next up, we have a game that I would like to be a good game. I don't know if it is. ESPN apparently thinks it's going to be a good game. Taryn, you might think it's going to be a good game. I want to be a good game. I just don't. I see a ranked and I see an unranked. But on Fox, 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, number 16, LSU will be making their way to the Rose Bowl, man, to take on the unranked UCLA Bruins. The crazy thing about this team, about this game, Darren, is that LSU is only favored 3 points. Please explain to me why they're only favored by 3 points, please.
So I hear one of the LSU's top players is going to be out. I think he plays defense. Not entirely sure who he is, but I think that could be also a factor. And also you got to factor in that LSU is going to have to travel to practice at a different facility because they're not traveling from Louisiana because of Hurricane Ida. So that could also be a factor. I'm actually going to take LSU for this one. I think it's going to be a lot closer. If this were a couple of years ago, I would rather be intrigued on why UCLA is playing this matchup. But with no Jamar Chase, no Joe Burrow, no Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I think it's going to be a close matchup, but I think LSU will grind out the win.
I think so, too. And I didn't take all those things into consideration, Taryn. You're absolutely right. Adam apparently missed our conversation earlier on Bishop Sycamore. He says, where's Bishop Sycamore ring? Yeah, Adam. Very funny, man. That is just, yeah, we're going to have some fun with that on Friday with Cecilia and myself on the Sports Couples Perspective. But, man, good old Bishop Sycamore. Wow. We're going to find out in the coming days what actually happened, what goes on, and, yeah, I don't know if that's going to be a program very much or whatever it may be. But last but not least, on Sunday, September 5th, last of the top 25 ranked games, last game of the night, and then we're out of here, Taryn. Number 9, Notre Dame will be taking on the Florida State Seminoles in Tallahassee. Notre Dame is actually only favored 7.5 points. Is this because Notre Dame is not as good as everyone thinks, even though they are number 9? Or is this because Florida State's actually better than everyone thinks, regardless of not having a ranking? What do you think, Taryn?
It could be because Notre Dame also lost some of their top players like Tommy Tremble and Ian Book, just to name a few. I'm going to pick Notre Dame for this one, obviously, and I think they'll also cover. I want to see Florida State put up a fight, but I don't think Florida State is going to be I don't think they'll be in it too much. I think they'll be in it for the first half, and then second half Notre Dame's going to pull away. But this should be a good test for Florida State, and it's not an ACC game, so it won't count toward Florida State's conference record.
Agree. That's awesome. Well, I personally think right now, Notre Dame should head on down there and get the victory. But man, Florida State, it'd be nice to see them. USC fight on, pull the upset. But I'm just saying, regardless, should be a good football game. And I'm going to be taking Notre Dame in this one. So Taryn and I had some disagreements. We had a lot of agreements. This is going to be fun, and we're going to talk about our records next week and what happened, and have plenty more. So with that said, Taryn, man, that was a fun one. I know we went over 16 minutes. But, of course, like I said, we're going to work on that, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have the segments pretty much planned out and everything. We'll have some commercials put up together and everything. We got a lot to figure out, of course, when it comes to this show, to put together and kind of put the skeleton together and the outline each week. But at least we're here. Last year, we weren't even here, so we got our time. We're good. Taryn's doing his thing over there, making money now after graduation. I'm making money right now, just getting the work scheduled out and everything. So we have a solid time and a solid day. Now we just got to figure out the show a little bit, and we'll be ready to rock and roll. Well, we already are. But with that said, y'all, that is going to do it for tonight's show. Taryn, any last comments, words, concerns, thoughts, anything, man? Of course, where can all these diehard college football fans find you?
You can follow me on Twitter at Taryn Rodriguez1. That is Teran, then the last name Rodriguez, and then the number 1. You can also follow me on Twitter at set_points.ie for all your volleyball needs. And also, you can follow me on Twitter at SoCalShowIESR for everything Southern California related. Definitely be talking about the college football that happens, not just for USC and UCLA, but for other teams like San Diego State. Even San Diego and the FCS and Cal Poly. One last thing to note is that please, if you're a fan, please don't go onto the field and celebrate if your team has won, when they clearly have not. Otherwise, your team will get penalized. So just be a smart fan.
There you go. Well, with that said, Taryn, big ups. Thanks for joining me today, brother. Thanks for joining us here for having the show. Big ups to our boys, man, Davidson Crooks and Adam Karnick. Adam, of course, in the chat room saying, good show, guys. Big ups, man, to him as well. Once again, coming up in just a few weeks here, hopefully, we'll have Spencer Williams with the Bayou Bulletin, but big ups to him right now. Thoughts and prayers are with him and his family and everybody down in Louisiana. Hurricane Ida has just taken a toll, and definitely it's a scary thing. So prayers to everybody over there. But we have a packed Wednesday every week. It starts with the show that never sleeps. Of course, the show you heard before this one with Harrison Glazier and Pierre Moss. Next up is us, of course, Taryn Rodriguez and me, your boy Larry B, talking some college football. The next hour, the 5 o'clock / 8 o'clock, depending on where you are in the country, the Bayou Bulletin with Spencer Williams. Then after that, Titletown Sports, which is coming on up at the top of the hour with Mr. Beantown Brandon, talking Boston sports. After that, Mr. Adam Karnick, that you see in the chat room here, with Chi-Town Weekly at 7 p.m. Pacific Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. And then Gloves Off. Our boy Marcus Los Great will end off the night at 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern. He gives you what you want and gives you what you need every week, of course. If you haven't already guessed, Chi-Town Weekly is a Chicago sports show, of course. Adam Karnick and Gloves Off, all combat sports talking boxing, MMA, and all good stuff in the combat world. So Wednesdays are packed, and can't wait to get all these shows firing all at once and just doing our thing. So with that said, y'all, we're kind of halfway through Wednesday night, if you will. We've got 3 more shows coming up tonight. Looking forward to all of them. With that said, y'all, cue the music, because we're out of here! Alright, y'all, it has been a fun one. My goodness, it has been great. Darren, this is going to be a good weekend of football, man. Do you agree?
Oh yes, for sure. I'm very excited for a full football schedule. No doubt about it.
You and me both, man. So with that said, high school footballs. Hey, if you got a high school across the street somewhere, wherever, whatever, go show them love, y'all. You live there, hey, show love. Maybe you have an alma mater that you moved from, maybe not too far from. Go support them on Friday night. It's always cool to get back to those ASD clubs, the weather clubs in high school. Go support those kids, because you know what, the cool part is, no matter what, whether you're supporting future NFL stars out there, you never know, or just kids who are loving what they do, and they just want to still go, or go to the next level, and just sit and do it before, or I'm just saying, they come from your alma mater or whatever, go check out some good high school games. If there's a college around you, go check them out, support them. Of course, show plenty of love to all the higher schools, of course, all the big colleges and all that good stuff, and this is how it is, y'all. With that said, that is going to do it for tonight's show. This is me, your boy Larry B. You can follow me on Twitter at THW5. Give the show a follow at 3 and Out, all spelled out, of course, IECO, ISSCO, I believe. I forgot how it goes. We're going to put together before we're out here tonight. Alright, it is officially, if I can find it down there, 3 and Out. CEIE. Check us out, give us a follow there, give us a follow, show us some love, and there we have it. With that said, y'all, we will see you next week. Until then, take care, and as always, God bless.